Okay, everyone. Today is the last video for 6 months. Just kidding, but it is the last video from the Christmas boxes. Today we're going to talk about the Caliban. It is, in my opinion, an atrocity. I don't think there is any reason for this to come to the game. I don't think it's good for the game. It's just not going to be fun to have, provided you're trying to play the game, not dumb. Anyway, this is a British heavy tank, and you can see it uses my Super Conqueror crew, which is pretty beefy at this point. So that definitely helps with the gun handling. Equipment-wise, I opted to use Vertstab, IRM, and Improved Aiming Unit. This is, in case you don't know, a derp gun through and through. This is effectively an auto-reloading KV-2. If that interests you, then you'll probably enjoy this quite a lot. Even I enjoyed it a little bit, even though it is thoroughly disgusting. I also tried dropping IRM for vents, and I found that worked okay as well. But let's get into why this thing is silly. It is 180 pen, 850 alpha, with 354 meters per second velocity, with a just under 2,000 credit shell cost. That is not super cheap, but the damage you get for that is pretty substantial, especially with 180 pen. That is massive. The things you can get away with, I penned KV-4s, Basantes, Carnarvons through the tracks, the whole thing. It's obscene. You'll also notice you could drop the alpha down to 600 and still get almost 300 millimeters of pen. It's disgusting. So even against tier 10s, you're not totally at a loss. Now you are, because the velocity is awful. It's not as bad as the standard, but it's not good. So it really excels at brawling. I would never use this as a sniper. You're basically an artillery piece at that point. So we'll get into the stats of the vehicle here. Again, 850 alpha, 180 pen by default, with a, on my setup, just shy of 36-second reload for the second round, and 22 for the first. And again, it's important to remember this is an auto reloader, so you can fire one shot, hold it, and keep that 22-second reload, which is really not that awful, at least in my opinion. It's not great because games can move kind of fast nowadays, as we all know, so it's definitely not perfect, but it's pretty usable in my experience. That'll make, if you dump the entire mag, a 58-second reload, which is insane. However, something shocking is a 3.75 second interclip between firing the first and the time it takes to load the second. It's only 3.7 seconds, which really isn't that terrible. The aim time is 3.85 on my setup, which is a lot. You definitely feel it compared to anything else you're playing at tier 8 and up. Even against the 4005, it doesn't really feel that bad. 0.5 dispersion, that is straight up like low tier artillery levels. That is not good. It's just really painful in some cases. The hit points, you're looking at 1500, and the armor profile we'll look at here really quickly. The hull is only 130 millimeters. It is angled pretty well, but it's not going to make enough of an angle for it to matter. You could see for the turret, it's 250 on the front, which is pretty well angled, and if you're using that gun depression, because it does get 10 degrees of gun depression, by the way, you definitely will bounce some things, but it's not going to be, don't expect this to be your typical British heavy. Look at your Carnarvons, Conqueror, Super Conqueror, anything like that. It's not going to bounce like that. On the side of the hull, you're looking at 35 millimeters, and the rear 35 millimeters. This thing is a big brick. You're going to get HE penned by a lot, quite frankly. Even things that you really wouldn't expect. A lot of 105 millimeter guns tend to have like 53 HE pen or 60 HE pen. This will go through that 100%. The turret armor, you're looking at 80 on the sides and 50 on the rear. So again, very, very pennable. The mobility is really not terrible. It's only 33 on the setup, but I didn't feel like it was that bad. Maybe because it's the comparison of the insane gun, the 152 millimeter, plus the fact it goes like 33. It doesn't feel as slow as it is, but for me, I never felt held back by the speed, really, in the same way I did with the Tornbong, which is, I think, even slightly faster. The reverse speed is 12 kilometers backwards, so again, really not great. 43 degrees traverse, which isn't terrible. 9% camo on this setup, which is better than I would have thought. 5% on the move. and the view range is pretty lacking. Again, you'll know I have a very, very good crew, and I'm only getting 418 meters view range. I don't really think that matters. Again, you can really treat this like an auto-loading KV-2 or auto-reloading KV-2, where you're really never going to be anywhere that's not in the enemy's face. But anyway, I do hope that covers everything in the garage. We'll hop over to some clips. I'm not even going to use full gameplay, I don't think. Maybe my decision in editing will be different, but this thing, I hadn't had a game that felt really fun. In terms of like a full match, I had fun moments, and I also had remarkably frustrating moments, so I'll send in one of those too, I'm sure. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't want to hold you up any longer. The boxes should be available tomorrow, and I think that's everything, so I'll catch you guys over there. So, like I said, I'm not going to show you guys the full game with every minute waiting, but I will show you these. First shot, not great. Next shot, and ouch. 911 damage right off the rip. That is brutal. And I hope that kind of illustrates why I feel this tank's going to be a problem. With the HE changes and high explosive going through spaced armor, you can kind of get a grip for why this is so insane. That a mill will not get away, by the way. You'll see what happens a bit later. In this case, though, I just want to leave this in to show you just how long the reload is. And we're not even all the way done. I am going to make a cut here in a minute. Yeah, there you go. But this Emil pushes in full HP, right? Not missing a single hit point. Make a move. We're double loaded. Get our first shot in for a pretty healthy low roll. Too bad it's not going to matter because we're still going to annihilate him. And that is quite literally all the damage I get for the next like 5 minutes. I don't fire another round. I hope you can kind of see why this is so frustrating. I'll throw in a couple more clips, but I hope you guys can kind of get a bit of an idea of how it performs, and I'll catch you guys on stream later if you want to see some more gameplay.